Hi, I'm meteorologist Ted Keller. As I mentioned earlier, this is heads up weather for the Ozarks, and this is going to talk about the severe weather possibilities over about the next 5 days or so, and also highlight the heavy rain potential. And now, granted, the Ozarks could use some rain, but as usual, it probably may come a little too fast, too much in a short amount of time. Let's talk about it. Well, let's start off by talking about Wednesday. And this is the GEFS flow, 500 millibars, and we've got a wind maximum right in this area here, right over the Ozarks. And we have enough time for a little bit of moisture to come up, and with the moisture, the associated usual instability, but not looking real great on Wednesday. And there's a reason why the Ozarks are not really directly under gun because we're just kind of a little too late on the return flow of that moisture, which that actually improves the more toward, let's say, Dallas that you get. And we'll talk about those maps here in a minute. Then we'll jump ahead to Friday, and this is a huge system in the upper atmosphere. A long wave trough has been carved out. This is a fast flow of air here. We're on the warm edge of this. Almost always implies heavy rain and potential severe weather. So let's take a look at, we're talking about the severe weather first. So on Friday, the Cape is increasing a little bit out through the high plains. And this looks to be the kind of thing that will roll in here later on Friday evening into Friday night, and then it'll just transition to a heavy rain event. So let's talk about these severe weather threats. Now here's Wednesday's. This has been creeping northeast day after day. This started out way out in southeast Oklahoma, and each day that the Storm Prediction Center has looked at this yellow area, which is the 2 out of 3 threat area, has crept into northwest Arkansas. All of the Ozarks pretty much has a severe thunderstorm risk on Wednesday. If we look at what the CSU severe storm probability has to say about this is a machine learning model. It takes current data and also previous runs and just trying to pattern match, basically. So there's a little bit of a tornado threat there in northwest Arkansas. And generally speaking, the hail and wind threats are both in the outlined area, but not the highest I've ever seen in terms of probability. So do I think this is a widespread severe weather risk? Not yet. Now, of course, this is Wednesday and that we're talking about here. This is only Monday, so I'll be taking a look at this even later on tonight, but certainly tomorrow. Then we're going to jump to Friday. And remember, there was a huge storm system, strong winds in the upper atmosphere out here. So all along this area here, there's a 15% category as opposed to 30. They only issue at the SPC this many days out, either a 15 or a 30% risk of severe weather of any kind within a 25-mile radius. So, the western sliver of Missouri is included in this. Like I said, I think this will get going Friday afternoon. Whatever's left of this will drift in. And I do have a feeling that this will be expanded to more of the Ozarks when we get closer to the event. And one of the reasons I say that is because if you look at CSU's probability, again, here's the SPC's outlook. Theirs goes a little bit longer, all the way up to Chicago, northern Illinois, covers much more of Missouri, all but the southeast corner. And what am I saying? That is the 15% probability. So in other words, we're comparing that yellow to kind of that yellow there. So there's room to tweak this, certainly. Now let's get on to the heavy rain. Now in terms of flash flooding, this green area here is a marginal risk on Wednesday, at least a 5% chance of us getting to that threshold. So it's not real great. And one of the reasons why is because we haven't had a lot of moisture and the runoff is not going to be all that great on Wednesday. But remember, this is sort of the first salvo of rain. So this is likely going to get worse as we go into this. Having said that, though, on Friday, the government has only still kept it at a marginal risk of flash flood guidance being met. And this has shifted, but it does include Springfield and Joplin and northwest Arkansas on Friday, mostly, I think, Friday night. Let's take a look at the precipitation day by day. This is Tuesday through Thursday, so 3 days here. And we start getting into these purple colors here. We're getting into upper part of the 1 inch, lower part of the 2 inch category through the Ozarks here. So again, that taken by itself is not cause for concern. But then if we take a look at the period right after that, 2 more days, Friday and Saturday, and we're starting to see 2-inch rains almost from Joplin northwest to Springfield, even heavier amounts down there in northwest Arkansas. So again, keep that in mind. We're going to add all this up in a minute. And then on Sunday and Monday, again, patches where we get up to about 1.5 inches of rain, southeast of Springfield, maybe north of Springfield. The heaviest of this will always, in all of these outlooks, be up to the northeast of us in areas around St. Louis and up into Illinois and Indiana. So if I take and add up all three of those graphs and take a look at the whole period, Tuesday, tomorrow, through a week from today, Monday, we generally in the Ozarks have a 3 to 4 inch rainfall pattern setting up. Now, this could get a little bit worse, I think. Notice the 5-inch band is down here. So it's the kind of thing we're going to keep an eye on. I've been talking about this pattern shift for a while, so this really probably shouldn't come as a major surprise. But, the devil will be in the details, of course, as they always are, with respect to these severe weather specifics on each day and where these exact pockets of heavy rain set up. But it does look pretty clear that probably a good 4-inch rain is, or very close to that, is due in here about over the next week or so.